We are fixing my block out of the wagon. The mass exodus of explosion block. So I'm going to go over how we fix this, what stuff matters, what stuff doesn't matter. No matter what you think, doesn't matter. One thing that you guys got to keep in mind is why would I fix this block? Because regardless, this thing, if this was a customer's block and he sent this thing to me and says, hey, can you fix this thing? I would have to say, yes, absolutely I can fix this thing. Will it be as pretty as a brand new one? Absolutely not. Will it be as good as a brand new one? Absolutely. Will it? Will you be able to see the damage from the stands when this thing goes $5.99? No, you will not. So that is all that really matters. So I'm going to show you all the stuff that we're doing to fix here and what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done. All right, so we got the block. I've already showed you all the pictures and videoage of all this stuff. Now, the sleeves are out. I'm going to show you the areas that I'm going to weld. Some areas I'm just not going to weld because they do not matter. They have no bearing on anything other than it looks ugly. But for example, let's see here. There is, let's look on this side of it. You see all the, you see all the dinging and all the little bit of trash that's when everything was all blowing apart in there and flying around. I am not going to weld all that up. Can you see it from out here? No. Does it have any bearing on any kind of performance? Because this side's the same way. Does any of this have any bearing on any performance whatsoever? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, if I felt like it, I could just come in here and give this extra clearance and just put the end mill down here and go, and it'd be gone. Doesn't matter. Down here, it could do the exact same thing. The only areas that I am going to be concerned about is some things I'm going to, some things I am going to grind out to be smooth, some other stuff like that. Is this area right here in the block, in the grand scheme of life, matter to the integrity of this block? No. That is why I've made this. This entire thing right here, this entire, or you can call it a wall, or oil pan rail, could be cut off right here, and I could just change my oil pan style and be done. And this would be perfectly fine. I could just machine it off flat right to here, and then it would be like 90% of all blocks in the world without this rail. This rail is meant to be damaged, to be taken off, welded, saved, whatever, without having any integral part of the main cap bulkhead area. Does it add a little bit of strength because it's there? Yeah, it does. But it is mainly done so I can be consistent and make things more universal. All right. Now, I am going to fix like this area. So I'll weld that up. And that one's, I'll grind this out. And it's a little bit of a bugger because I'll end up, I'm definitely going to have to, this one here, I can feel it, has moved the cap. So it hits hard enough here that it actually forces the cap in. So I'm going to take this out and I will probably, I got to think about that. I think since the cap is not damaged at all, I'll grind this out, grind it flat, and I think I will weld this little area up. You know, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to weld that area up. I think I'm just going to grind this all out, machine this flat, and then machine and or, well, I'll probably machine this register back flat again. So we got that. We got this one. Really doesn't need anything. this one here, this is just going to be grind down. And this one's going to be grind down. This one's going to be grind down. Main cap, so that one's nice. This one's nice. This one's nice. This one's nice. Really, the only thing in any bulkhead damage is that spot right there. And everybody else is really good. And then obviously I'm going to fix this little spot right here. When I fix this one, you guys will, I will get all sorts of comments about that probably. But I am practical. I understand what matters and what does not. So that's pretty interesting. Had a rod bolt hit that pretty freaking hard, and it looks like at one point just like bang, because there's the head of it, there's all the threads of it. So anyways, I will start working on this now. Down at the bottom here is where I want to add some material, right down there. See, I just want it to be pretty much like that. I might even add a little bit of material there because it got clearance, or it has too much clearance there anyways. So there, there, there. And what that area does, or what this area does right here, is it's giving support to the back side of the sleeve. The sleeve comes out here about like that, and just give it a little bit of support from behind it. And then we clearance for stroke after the sleeves are in. So I'll put this down, start showing you how we go about it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm sure you guys just saw what I was doing, and some of you guys are probably just freaking out, but it does not matter. This is totally inconsequential. I could cut this off and throw it freaking away. It does not freaking matter. The only thing it's doing is holding my oil pan rail. But what I am going to do is I think I'm going to deburr and go in and touch all this up, and just, like I said, just deburr all this, and I just straighten this out. And what I'm still going to end up doing is when I put this up in the mill, and in order to go through and re-hit my bolt holes, because I will have to do those, because that one's fine, that one's fine, that one's fine, that one's foobarred, fine. So I'm just going to go in and put some inserts in it, run taps through here. Hold on. And so what I'm going to do is, we're right in the middle of dynoing too, so sorry about the noise there. But anyways, the if you could hear that, I'm not sure. Gonna run a tap through here, and I think I probably will come down here and just kind of clean this up with the end mill, because it'll still leave some of these little pits in there. So you can see here, this is normal clearancing right there. This is normal clearancing. This is all normal. So all of this is normal clearancing. I just went over and just knocked all the burrs off of stuff. So you can see from there to there. And so we're just going to keep on plugging away and keep on doing that. But like I said, for this whole pan rail. Oh, and then I'll come along and I'll just cut the top of this too and make it fine. All I'm doing is knocking the high sides off everything, so it's not a bunch of burrs hanging out there. I'll just come in and just give this a little teeny weeny haircut because, like I said 100 times so far, this is really not consequential. I'll just give it a very small little haircut just to make sure it's flat and nice, and shouldn't have to do anything else there. So I'm going to keep on going through here. You can see right here, that's a spot that actually is got pushed up from this side, and one of the reasons why we had to bore the sleeves up, because that's actually bored right there. It actually moved that material. So I'm going to come in here and weld this whole area up, weld some area up in here. Also, it left a couple little boogers down in my cam journals. Even though the camshaft turned and was fine on the cam brains, I want to put new cam brains in it, which is I'm going to have to deburr some spots, which is no big deal, and then I'll run the line home through it. I'll show you that too, if you've never seen a line home work, to make that cam journal, you know, perfect. And we'll probably run the, in fact I will, after I fix this one spot here, we'll run a line home through the main tunnel also, just to make sure that everything is perfect and square and right, even though I know it is because the crankshaft turned over like a dream. Anyways, we're going to keep on plugging away, and I'll have to do a little more. This one is probably the most amount of work. It's not worth cutting out. So the normal repair for this is they would come in here, cut this entire piece out with a mill, machine up a new piece, and then weld it all the way and weld that new piece in. That is a normal repair on a top fuel, on a top alcohol, pro modified block repair. They cut this window out, put it in a new piece, and then weld it, and then don't reheat treat it. That is normal procedure and process. All I'm doing is just heating this up enough to just make it bend just a little bit easy. I get it up to about 350 degrees. That's what I use this heat pen for. When this is, see, this doesn't leave any coloring. When this is 350 degrees, it will melt. So that's something a little interesting there for you too. So this one's going to be a little bit of a bugger. I'm thinking how I want to do it, because even just welding this will make this hotter. This whole area will be hotter than when I was hitting this with a torch. It'll end up being more than 350 degrees. So I think I might actually just grind this out, weld this up, and then start kind of trying to beat that back just a little bit, just to make it a little bit nicer, and try getting that in there. Alrighty, now there you have it. So I'm gonna put this in the machine and machine this off. There's no sharp edges or anything on it. And perfect? No. Perfectly acceptable? Yes. Now you see, I'm also this material here out on this rail. See, I'm able to touch this. I mean, it's hot, but it's not burning me. It's so thin. I mean, it's half inch thick or so, right through there, that it welds well. Down here, it's very thick, and I got to put more heat in the block down there. So I'll end up having to heat this block up to get these areas down here, probably at least a little bit. That's still a thin spot area, which is why it's broke out. So I'm going to you know, fill this area right there. And that's my goal right there. Like that one's fine, just deburr it. That one's got a little chunk knocked off it, I'm gonna add. That one's fine. And that one, I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna mess with that one or not. Maybe. But you can see here, it's all filled in. It's fairly straight. It's pretty straight. Once this is a little crested, so when I machine this, it'll go back to being straight. But you can look right down and see that's pretty good. Happy with that. And just a little bit of bow out there. Like I said, since I got to remake a hole right there, machine this flat, I'll come in here and I'll machine the inside of this. I'll probably come out here and just kind of touch this whole area here just to give it a nice finish right here with the end mill. Take these plugs out and everything. And then, like I said, I got to rerun thread a -12 tap through here, which is like a, I don't know, inch and something or whatever. But anyways, so we're just gonna keep on plugging away, but that looks good. I'm no problem with that. I think I'm gonna hit these other small spots here first, and then we'll keep on going. All right, so what you're seeing here is, or I'll show you, is, remember I said that this was, had gotten hit and it pushed the cap. You can actually see it, since the cap is all machined in there. You see it, you can't feel it. I just wiped it off basically. That little area is shinier and darker, because it actually is pushing the cap. So I'm gonna touch that up with a file, because it's, the cap is dowel pin with the head stud, or I'm sorry, with the main stud. So the main stud is the dowel pin that holds everything together. The cap register out here really doesn't do a whole lot. I'm actually gonna hit this with a file here real quick, and I think that will do it, and then we'll just kind of refit the cap on. And as I just touched that with a file, now you can really see it. You can see right there how, I mean, we're talking just a couple thousandths is all that's pushed that over. But I'm just gonna make that flat across there. Now you might say, oh, just throw it back up in the machine and do it. Problem is the machine uses this particular portion of the cap, uses this cap to put it in the machine. I'll show you that later. So I have to have this all right before we can do this. I could put it up in the Bridgeport, cut it, but by the time you try to trim off this 2/1000ths or whatever it is right here, that's very hard to do. And again, because it doesn't actually locate on the register, it locates and is centered off of the dowel pin. Thinking about that, it actually, as long as this isn't forcing it in, there is no problem with this. So I'm just going to touch this up. All right, so you see me just touching, just filing that, because this is perfectly flat, so I have this as the register to go to. And now you can see that it is all really nice. So just takes just a few minutes, and it's like hand fitting. See, some people get all crazy excited about it. It's all hand fitted. And then some other people get all crazy about it's all CNC. Well, it's both. So anyways, got that done. Put the cap on, we're gonna run that. I'm gonna continue to deburr, because it turns out I am gonna put this back up in this big CNC machine and redo these rails. At least it won't make it perfect, but it will
it will make it nice. And it'll probably save me a little bit of time. So that's why I'm really doing it. All right, so I'm going to just put that on there. Make sure everything's clean. My cap's all clean, like that. And then I know what this thing fits like. So like I said, it uses the dowel pins that are in the stud, or the stud as the dowel pin, because we machine it that way. And now it feels perfect. Alright, so it was a little pushed over there. Now it's not. Use the old cap puller to pull it off. So it kind of double registers, I guess, if you want to say so. The primary deal is it doweling on the main stud, and I'll show you that here in a second. I'll go grab that. So what this is, you can see this stud here. This is the big portion that goes into the block. This is 9/16, this is 5/8. So, and this is a doweled portion right there that sticks up. Let him eat it, I don't care. And the dog's over there stealing Clark's Reese's peanut butter stick thing. So they're all over there yelling at him. It's like, oh, screw it, let him eat it. So, anyways. Alright, all back to normal here. See the dog up there? He's like, what? What? I didn't do nothing. I'm a good dog. Not. Anyways, it's a couple times he's stolen Clark's food. But anyways, here is that stud, and you can see that is the dowel pin portion. And so that is locating the main cap, and the register acts as a secondary location. So everything's all cool right now. Looks good. I'm going to continue to deburr and then throw this up in the machine. Okie dokie, so you see me welding in the bottoms of the cylinders here. And there we go. See there. So that's welding up those bottoms, and what that's going to do is it just gives me the support for the sleeve behind it. So some of those were completely knocked out, and now they're not. And as you can see, let's see. Put a rag under here so it doesn't scratch up my deck surfaces. When you look up through the bottom of the bore, that's what you see there, there. So that all has to get bored out. So we'll bore that out when we put it up in the big machine and make these bores perfect and right again. And then we'll come back in. Just probably maybe touch hone if I have to, but and then start putting sleeves in. So I got to do a little more deburring here at the cam bearing area where I boogered some stuff up. And outside of that, I think I don't think none of this stuff matters. I'm not really going to fix anything there. It's gonna look good on the outside. And look to this side. it's going to end up looking good on the outside too. Except this little spot here, but we're going to remachine right through here and make that look good. So all this will just be on the inside, hidden.